Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to TNP Finance, where you make long and short-term investing simple. Today we're going to take a look at the NASDAQ and at a couple stocks that have some very important price action surrounded about them. These are stocks that you can be placing a trade on as soon as, let's say, it's even tomorrow, and that could cash out very, very soon. So without further ado, let's take a look at all these positions here. But we'll take a look at the NASDAQ first. The NASDAQ was up 0.54% today, and we had a very good confirmation that the bulls are still in control of the market. You have this very strong rejection, very strong bullish rejection from this 23,000 level, and right now we are looking to make new all-time highs. And again, we are still in a bull market, even though we were in a bit of consolidation before, but we still have higher highs and higher lows being made, especially notes on the higher lows. So that being said, we are still in a bull market, and you don't want to be shorting a bull market. And right now, the most probable scenario is that we're going to be making some new all-time highs. This is the only real support level that we have that price has come back and retraced. And as long as we're above it, I'm looking to go higher. So what am I doing right now? I have this support level that is following the candle closes of the market in the past month here. And I'm using that as a trailing stop loss. So I can use that as a trailing stop loss. I can take my profit up at something like 24,500 if you're looking for a specific number, which is about 3% away. Or if you are doing something that I would really recommend, trailing your take profit as well and waiting for a good confirmation to sell, that would be a better scenario. Again, some of these markets here, they move up 60, 70, 80%. You don't want to be cutting out your wins short. So that being said, having a trailing take profit could be a very smart idea, or a trailing stop loss. If you want to wait for a retest of this 23,700 level, I could say that's a very smart and a very probable idea as well. And that's going to give you a better risk to reward ratio of 4.32. But as I mentioned, we are still in a bull trend, and I'm not seeing a stop to this until we make a new lower low, or we have a very obvious bearish candle or a very obvious sequence of bearish candles. So this is my play right here. If we break below the support line, I'm holding in cash. And if we break below this 23,000 support line over here, then I might be shorting the market. But until I get confirmation on that, I will not be doing either of those things, and I will be holding my NASDAQ position. So that is my outlook for the NASDAQ here. Let's take a look at the heat map. And the heat map has been overall green, as the NASDAQ is also in the green today. But you do have a little bit of a mixture here. Google, Meta is down. Tesla and Apple are down as well. But then you have stocks like Broadcom that are doing very, very well. Amazon that's doing very, very well. Speaking about Google, I do want to take a look at the Google chart over here, and this is very, very significant for the market. If you are a Google investor, you need to listen to me here, because this is going to be very, very crucial for your portfolio and for your Google holdings specifically. Let's just take a look here. Google has recovered a significant amount from the bottom here back in April. We were able to move up 64% in Google. So that is very significant. Just in the past week, let's just take a look how much we've moved up in the past week. We've moved up a total of 11%. That being said, and we can just see here, let's say that we have a support line that's drawing like this, let's say, we can see here that we are very overextended in Google. That being said, we're about 7.5 weeks overextended. This stop loss, or sorry, this trailing support, if we just have it right in the middle of the trend, to get to this point, it'll be 7.5 weeks out. So what am I seeing here? Not only are we overextended, and we can see this in the Bollinger Bands as well, we are getting an exit out of the upper Bollinger Band, which is extremely significant. And not only that, we are also getting this very bearish hammer candle here, this upside down hammer candle, or this upside down shooting star. That is very, very important to look at. So right now, when you have a new gap to be filled for a new all-time high breakout, that is a very high chance that we'll come back and refill this gap. So it doesn't need to be perfect down to the dollar, down to the cent, but very, very close. So if you're looking to take profit at something like 217, which is a couple dollars away from that gap fill at 215, and having your stop loss right at the high of today, that could be a very smart idea, giving you a great risk reward ratio of 4. And again, this is very probable. This gap will get filled, and it doesn't need to be today, it doesn't need to be tomorrow, it doesn't need to be in a month, but it will happen eventually. So that's what I'm looking out for when it comes to Google. Let's take a look at Berkshire Hathaway over here. Berkshire Hathaway, I was able to draw a support line over here for Berkshire Hathaway, and unfortunately that support line has been broken. So does that mean that we're going to come back down even lower? Most likely not. No, we're still in a bull trend for Berkshire Hathaway. We've had the main breakout of our resistance level be broken here, so that is very significant. And right now I am expecting a bit of a correction for Berkshire Hathaway, so I have closed my position and I will be rebuying at a cheaper price. So I saved myself a little bit of pain and agony from seeing my portfolio or my position drop a little bit. But regardless, this is very key as well, a break of support. But I still think that Berkshire Hathaway could be making some new all-time highs in the future. So if you haven't purchased in, I would say buying Berkshire Hathaway for a long-term holding could be a very smart idea. Let's take a look at NVIDIA over here. NVIDIA have exited the lower Bollinger Band here, and with a lot of volume today, in the past 15 minutes of the market closing, we can see here that we've had a mass of sellers in the market here. Let's just take a look at that. We've had a huge mass of sellers in the market. The market moved down 0.7% in the last 15 minutes. And why did it do that? I'm not sure. But regardless, if you are able to get into this price over here for NVIDIA, I think that could be a very smart idea. Having your stop loss right at the lower Bollinger Band and then taking profit at the next support level over here. I'm looking at 178. 180 was a very key support level and resistance level. So 178 will still be very conservative for a take profit where you're not going to get rejected too soon. So this is going to give you a very good risk reward of 7.8. If you risk a very minimal amount, you have very little loss, there's nothing to lose. But if you win, that's a pretty sizable win right there. So great risk reward ratio, and that's what I'm looking for NVIDIA. We've already had a pretty deep pullback when it comes to our chip sector over here. Let's just take a look here. We got a max pullback of 11%, so that's very significant. I think that could be a very good territory for buying that correction. Let's take a look at AMD, and the same thing for AMD. We've exited that lower Bollinger Band, but AMD compared to NVIDIA has fallen even more. Now let's just take a look at AMD here. It's fallen a total of 20%. So 20% is a very sizable pullback, and I am looking to buy this correction or average down on your portfolio. AMD has been one of my best positions. We bought all the way back in April 24th, and that's also when we bought our massive NASDAQ position. And ever since then, I've been playing the hell out of NVIDIA. We placed one trade where we bought over here at April 23rd. We sold over at 34% increase. We repurchased when we broke above this resistance level as well. And then we sold again at about $180 a share, about $179.50 if I'm correct. Not only that, we also placed another position where we bought this dip over here and we resold again at $180 a share. So that being said, why am I sharing this with you? Because we have been beating the NASDAQ, we've been beating the market, we've been beating every single security by a significant amount. As of today, as we speak, we are currently beating the market by 660.68%. 428.6% has been from just stock trading in general. It's just our one stock positions. And then 232% has been from day trading the NASDAQ and swing trading the NASDAQ. So if you're interested in getting all these trades that we're taking and a lot more, it looks like we're going to be placing a trade very, very soon. And I will break that down for you for AMD. Come take a look at that link in my description, wap.com/tmp-finance. You're going to be able to get all the trades that I took in real time, including the take profit and stop loss and percentage risk allocation, as well as some other things like free one-on-one sessions. But right now for AMD, this is my next trade here that I'll be looking for. Not only a break of resistance if you're looking for something a little bit more conservative and something that has a little bit more confluence, where you could be looking for a new touch to 180, which is giving you still a very good risk reward ratio. You could also be playing a little bit of a riskier trade where you can place your trade here, have your stop loss right at the low of the day, and then take profit somewhere like at the resistance zone, or if you think this will break, you could have take profit at 180 again, and that's going to give you a very good risk reward ratio. So we've been placing a lot of fantastic risk reward ratio trades. Let's just take a look at our main AMD trade over here. This is our biggest one of 2025 for an individual stock. We placed our trade right at 117. We had our stop loss right at the swing low, and we're taking profit again at 170, which was the original take profit. Then we moved that up to 180 later on, and that was giving us a fantastic risk reward of 6.55. And again, this stop loss is trailing, which I recommend to do with most of your stocks. If you can find a very obvious support level, trail that stop loss. Let's take a look at one other holding. This is another holding that I've been telling a lot of people to buy. CrowdStrike. CrowdStrike has been absolutely significant when it comes to IT and when it comes to internet in general. A lot of companies rely on CrowdStrike. That being said, when I see a massive dip of CrowdStrike where we pulled back 22%. I think that's very significant, especially when we break above our falling resistance line here as well. So that being said, we placed our CrowdStrike position at 416, and it's not too late to buy. If you want to wait for a breakout of this resistance level specifically, that's an even better time to buy. I'm looking for new take profit for CrowdStrike as well. I'm looking at something like 31% higher from where I purchased my original trade at 547 a share. That's a fantastic risk reward ratio of 12.81, and currently we're up by 2.5%. Again, this is a trade that was made public to the Discord community as well, and all of my investors in the Discord community are in this trade, and we're making a whole lot of money so far. After a leverage that works at about 7.5% or a little bit more. So again, great trades to be taken. So these are all fantastic stocks that you should be keeping an eye out for, and you can be placing trades for all these stocks as soon as tomorrow. And again, your risk management does matter. So if these trades do not fit your risk criteria, even if it's a good take profit, but you end up risking too much with your stop loss, either don't get into that position, that's probably what I recommend, or risk a very minimal amount that you would be willing to lose. But that's pretty much it when it comes to trading for this week. So thank you very much for tuning in to this video again, and thank you for all the support on the channel recently. If you are interested in getting more support when it comes to your trading, come take a look at that link in my description that I mentioned, wap.com/tnp-finance, because we're beating the market by 660%. But thank you very much, and I will see you tomorrow. Later, y'all.